Welcome to Little Brother. In the event of an emergency, please proceed calmly to the nearest exit, and do not use the elevator. Food and drink are strictly prohibited. Please consume all concessions in the lobby before entering. Please take a minute to turn off all cellular devices, as texting, talking, web surfing, photography and video recording is reserved for government use only. Please note, today's performance will contain loud noises, fog, strobe, and flashing lights. If you have a health concern with any of these elements, please see theater staff at this time. Thank you, and enjoy, Little Brother.
Blackout. Light, sound, go.
Hi, welcome to Cesar Chavez High School. This is Miss Galvey's 4th period social studies class, and this is our group project.
Thanks for coming.
The assignment was to pick a recent newsworthy event and create a presentation demonstrating its impact on us.
We have to show how what happens out there affects people right here. Well, what happened in our city this year is definitely newsworthy.
Oh yeah. And it definitely affected us.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Some of us even became part of the story. The story has everything.
Outsmarting the cops.
Loud music.
Illegal parties.
Sex.
Getting in trouble.
Getting arrested.
Waterboarding.
But we'll get to all of that later.
Oh yeah.
Miss Galvez, Principal Gutierrez, Mom, everybody, you're not gonna be too happy with what you're about to hear.
But we couldn't think of a better way to complete this assignment than by telling the story of what happened in our city this year.
We're hoping all the hard work we put into this presentation will sort of balance out all the illegal stuff we did. So give us a good grade, okay, Miss Galvez?
You ready, Marcus?
Of course I'm ready.
Then let's go. You're on.
My name is Marcus Yallo. I'm a senior here at Cesar Chavez High School in Sunny Missions District in San Francisco. That makes me one of the most surveilled people in the world. No doubt. This is a story of me and my friends. It's about growing up in San Francisco and growing up in the United States of America at the beginning of the 21st century. It's about what I did to fight back when the DHS was...
You think this is about you?
Isn't it? Come on.
Seriously?
I am the one who...
He thinks it's about him.
Unbelievable.
Wait, come on. I mean, I know it's not all about me, but come on. I did some pretty crazy stuff.
So what? Dude, it can't be all about you. Wait,
Why
Vic.
is it called a group project?
Come on, Marcus. Let's do this. Fine. My name is Marcus Yallo, but at the beginning of the story, I was going by this. Pronounced Winston, not W1N5T0N. Unless you're a clueless disciplinary officer who's far enough behind the curve that you still refer to the internet as the information superhighway.
Benson! I'm totally playing Benson.
3 vice principals here at Cesar Chavez High School.
He's not out here tonight, is he?
Marcus Yarrow, report to the school office immediately.
Really?
Dude, that was totally Benson.
Yeah, okay.
Marcus Yarrow, report to the school office immediately.
The administration here at Cesar Chavez is always cracking down on me. But that's probably because I break through school firewalls like a wet Kleenex, spoof the gate recognition software, and I nuke the snitch chips they track us with.
Well, if it isn't W1N5T0N.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of this R2-D2 character of yours.
N5T0N?
Nope, I'm sorry. It's just not ringing any bells.
Marcus, I hope you realize how serious this is.
I will, just as soon as you explain to me what this is, sir.
Listen, kiddo. We know what you've been doing. You're going to be lucky if you're not expelled before this meeting is through. Do you want to graduate?
Mr. Benson, you still haven't explained to me what the problem...
The problem, Mr. Yellow, is that you've been engaged in some criminal conspiracy to subvert this school's security system. We have reliable intelligence indicating that you are W1N5T0N. We know that this W1N5T0N character was involved in the theft of last year's standardized test.
Okay, that actually hadn't been me. But it was a sweet hack, though, and it was kind of flattering to hear that it attributed to me.
And therefore liable for several years in prison unless you cooperate with me.
You have reliable intelligence? I'd like to see it, please.
Your attitude is not going to help you.
If there's evidence, sir, I think you should call the police and turn it over to them. This sounds like a very serious matter, and I wouldn't want to stand in the way of a proper investigation by the duly constituted authorities.
You want me to call the police?
And my parents, too, I think. That'd be for the best.
You can get back to class now. I'll call you down once the police are ready to speak with you.
Are you going to call them now?
The procedure for calling the police is very complicated. I was hoping we could settle this quickly, but since you insist...
I mean, I can wait here while you call them, Miss Hall. I don't mind.
Go! Get the hell out of my office, you miserable little...
Back in class, I shot a glance at my boy, Daryl. The game's afoot. Something big's going down with Harajuku Flood Madness, dude. You in?
This wasn't out loud, by the way. It was over text.
Okay, they get it. Come on.
Okay.
The game's afoot. Something big's going down with Harajuku Flood Madness, dude. You in?
No freaking way. If I go out ditching one more time, man, I'm expelled. You know that. We'll go after school.
You have study hall and then lunch, right? That's 2 hours. That's plenty of time to run down this clue and get back before anybody misses us. Harajuku Flood Madness is the best game ever invented.
It's an ARG, an alternate reality game.
It's sort of like a high-tech scavenger hunt, but on steroids.
Oh, crap, I forgot. I've got a library book in my bag.
Oh, you're kidding me. Library books are bad news.
Every one of them has an RFID, radio frequency ID tag, glued into its binding, so that the librarians can check out the books by waving them over a reader.
But that also lets the school track where you are at all times.
The courts wouldn't let the schools track us with RFIDs, but they can track our library books.
Introduction to physics?
I'm thinking of majoring in physics when I go to Berkeley.
You couldn't research it online.
My dad told me to read it, and besides, I wasn't planning on committing any crimes today.
Skipping school isn't a crime. It's an infraction. They're totally different.
What are we gonna do, Marcus?
Well, I can't hide it, so I'm gonna have to nuke it. There's a microwave in the teacher's lounge.
Yeah, forget it. No way.
Oh, come on, D. Easy now. It will be fine.
The teacher's lounge. Maybe you weren't listening, Marcus. If I get caught one more time, I'm expelled, man. Expelled.
The bell's already rung. If you go to class now, you'll just get a late slip. Better just not to show up at all at this point. I can infiltrate and exfiltrate this whole campus, D. You've seen me do it. I'll keep you safe, bro.
I hate you.
The RFID went up in a shower of sparks. We snuck down the stairs, around the back, past the fence, and out into the glorious sunlight of afternoon in the Mission. Valencia Street never looked so good.
Hey, watch out. There's an old lady with a camera phone across the street.
Ever since the truancy block went live, our world is full of nosy shopkeepers and pecksniffs who take it upon themselves to snap our pickies so that they can put them on the net so that they can be pursued by school administrators.
So, where are we going this time?
Well, the clue is just GPS coordinates. I think we're gonna go down to Powell, and then O'Farrell, and then over toward Van Ness. Somewhere in there, we should find our wireless signal.
That's a nasty part of the Tenderloin.
Are we gonna talk or are we gonna win?
Okay. Okay, we're here. Can we go now?
You got your Wi-Finder? All right, let's find that signal. Sorry.
Cheese! You're on Candid Snitch Cam.
No way. You wouldn't.
Oh, I would. In fact, I'm gonna send this little photo of you and your little friend over there in 30 seconds, unless you two don't back off and let me run down this clue.
Hey, wait a minute. Who the hell are you?
Someone who's going to kick your ass in Harajuku Fun Madness. And someone who's right this second about to upload your photo and get you two in so much trouble.
You wouldn't.
Oh, I would. In fact, I'm gonna send this little photo of you two over to Truant Watch in about 30 seconds, unless you two don't back off and let me run down this clue.
Yo, hey, wait! Who the hell are you?
Someone who's going to kick your ass in Harajuku Fun Madness. And someone who's right this second about to upload your photo and get you two in so much trouble.
And then... the world changed forever.
We felt it first. That sickening lurch of cement under your feet that every Californian knows instinctively. Earthquake.
And then we saw it. A huge cloud of black smoke rising from the northeast, the direction of the bay.
Report to shelters immediately!
This is not good.
Report to shelters immediately!
We should go! The Powell Street BART was a mob scene. A huge brawl of people trying to crowd their way down a narrow staircase.
Up ahead, we saw a middle-aged woman in a hippie dress falter and fall.
She was thrashing to get up, but the crowd's pressure was too strong.
Want to take our chances up top?
Hell yes! Someone freaking stabbed him in the crowd!
Hey! Hey, over here! Okay then, stop! I had never looked down the barrel of a gun before. But everything you've heard about the experience is true. You freeze where you are and time stands still and you can hear your heart thundering in your ears. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is some kind of misunderstanding. Look, we are just high school students and my friend's been stabbed at the Powell Street BART. We have to get him to a hospital now. Oh! I don't know how long I was out, but I was in cuffs when I woke up.
You're awake.
Oh, my head.
It's nothing compared to what I'm gonna do to you after we get out of this.
Where are we?
It's the back of a semi. Look at the wheel wells. Got maybe 18 of us back here. I think they've just been picking people up after the sirens.
Who are these people?
Do I look like a freaking search engine?
Look, calm down, just for a—
Don't tell me to calm down. You're the reason I'm in this.
Okay. If they're cops, ask what you've been charged with, then ask to see a lawyer. They can't do anything.
And what if
you're
they're not cops?
Where's Daryl?
Your friend? Think he's back there, but didn't really see.
Later, the truck started to move.
Then the floor stopped and started to rock gently. We realized that we were on a ship.
We were being taken off America's shores to somewhere else. Oh! Ah!
Hello, Marcus. We have some questions for you.
Our captors looked American in a way I couldn't exactly define. One was black and the other three were white. They all carried guns that looked like a game of Counter-Strike crossed with a Bennington's head. A lady with a severe haircut seemed to be in charge.
What's this for?
Am I under arrest?
You're being detained by the Department of Homeland Security.
Am I under arrest?
You're gonna be more cooperative, Marcus. Starting now.
I want to speak to an attorney. I want to know what I've been charged with, and I want to see some form of identification on each of you!
I think you should reconsider your approach to this situation. We found you and your Confederates near the site of a major terrorist attack. You were out on the street after everybody else reported to their appropriate shelters, and we found a number of suspicious devices on your person.
I want to speak to an attorney!
You're under the impression that you've been picked up by the police for a crime. You need to get past that. You're being detained as a potential enemy combatant of the United States government. If I were you, I'd be thinking very hard about how to convince us that you're not an enemy combatant. Because there are dark holes where enemy combatants can disappear into, where you can just vanish forever. Are you listening to me, young man? I want you to account for yourself. I want you to unlock this phone. What were you doing on the street? What do you know about the attack on our city?
Where's Daryl?
Who?
Daryl, my friend. You picked us up together. He was stabbed at the Powell Street BART. That's why we were up on the surface, to get him help.
Well, I'm sure he's fine then.
What? You don't know? You haven't got him here?
Who we have here and who we don't have here is not something that you're going to know. That's not something we're going to tell you, ever.
I'm not gonna unlock my phone for you.
What have you got to hide?
I've got the right to my privacy.
This is about your security, Marcus! Say you're innocent! You could have been on that bridge when it blew! Your parents could have been! Don't you want us to catch the people attacking your home?
Lady, as far as I can tell, you are the only one who's attacked me lately. I thought I lived in a country with a constitution. I thought I lived in a country where I had rights. You're talking about defending my freedom by tearing up the Bill of Rights.
You want to defend your Bill of Rights? Help us catch bad people from blowing up your city! Now you have exactly 30 seconds to unlock this phone before I send you back to your cell. This is your last chance, kid. Honest people don't have anything to hide.
I want to speak to an attorney. My parents would pay for it. All the FAQs on getting arrested were clear on this point. Just keep asking to see an attorney no matter what they say or do. In hindsight, maybe I should have unlocked my phone for them. Ah! Oh. You might be wondering at this point what dark secrets I had locked away on my phone.
On our phones. We're just kids after all.
The truth is, we have everything to hide. And nothing.
You could get a pretty good idea of who our friends are.
Well, we all think of each other.
All the goofy things we do.
You could read the transcripts of all the electronic arguments we carry out and the reconciliations we arrive at.
There's something truly liberating about having a corner of the world that's just yours, that no one else gets to see except you. It's kind of like a little nudity or taking a dump. Everybody gets naked every once in a while, and everyone has to squat on the toilet. There's nothing shameful, deviant, or even weird about either of them. But what if I decreed that from now on, every time you wanted to evacuate some solid waste, you'd have to do it in a glass box in the middle of Times Square, and you'd be buck naked?
Yeah. It's not about doing something shameful.
It's about doing something private.
I spent that night and all the next day in solitary, and that's all it took. I gave them my password and I submitted. They let me walk around the yard with the other detainees after that. There was a patch of sky overhead and it kind of smelled like the Bay Area, but besides that, I had no idea where I was being held. Hey.
It's you.
Are you okay?
Do I look like I'm okay? I'm being illegally detained by my own government.
Look, let's start over. I'm Marcus.
I'm Ange.
Ange? Okay, look. I don't know about you, but I'm really scared right now.
Stop talking! Prisoners are not to speak to one another in the yard.
How's your friend?
I haven't seen him.
Stop talking!
They keep asking me questions about you two.
Answer them. Anything they ask, answer them. If it will get you out. No dinner came that night. Or breakfast the next morning. The cuffs didn't come off either. My arms ached and then burned, then went numb and then burned again. I lost all feeling in my hands and I had to pee. I couldn't undo my pants and I really had to pee, and I pissed myself. They came for me after that.
Well, you've been a naughty boy, haven't you? Aren't you a filthy thing? We have enough on you now to put you away for a very long time, Marcus. We know where you live. We know who your friends are. We know how you operate and how you think. We just want to know one thing. What was the delivery mechanism for the bombs on the bridge?
What? Oh!
There were 10 charges on that bridge all along its length. Who put them there?
What? Oh!
This is your last chance, Marcus. You were doing so well until now.
I don't know what you're talking about! I don't know what you're talking about!
All right. We're through investigating you for now. And we're sending you home for today. But from now on, you are a marked man. You have not been found to be above suspicion. We're only releasing you because we're through investigating you for now. But from now on, you belong to us. You are never to speak of what happened here to anybody. Ever. Do you know that the death penalty still stands for treason in a time of war?
Yeah.
Good boy.
Oh!
It's you. And you're okay.
Ange. Where's Daryl?
He's not here. I never saw him.
How long were we in there?
6 days, I think.
I lost count.
What did they do to you?
I told her everything. Even when I was forced to piss myself.
They really hated you. Really had it out for you. Why?
Because I wouldn't unlock my phone for them that first night. That's why they singled me out. They didn't get back at me for mouthing off for, I don't know.
Bastards.
We pumped some quarters into the San Francisco Chronicle newspaper box and stopped to read the front section. Severe haircut woman had talked about the bridge blowing up, and I just assumed she was talking about the Golden Gate, but I was wrong. Why the hell would they blow up the Bay Bridge?
Probably got scared off by all the cameras and stuff and the suicide fences all along it. Plus, the Bay Bridge, it actually goes somewhere.
But I don't know. We keep acting like terrorists attack landmarks because they hate landmarks. But terrorists don't hate landmarks or bridges or airplanes. They just want to spruce stuff up and make people scared. So of course they went after the Bay Bridge after the Golden Gate's got all those cameras. After airplanes got all X-rayed and metal detected. Terrorists don't hate landmarks or bridges or airplanes. They love terror. Oh my God. All this crap. The X-rays. The ID checks. just useless, aren't they? No. Worse than useless because they ended up with us in prison with self-justice.
We have to tell our parents.
No. We can't tell them anything.
What do you mean?
We can't tell them anything. If we blab, they will come for us, and they'll do to us what they did to Daryl.
You're joking. You want us to...
I want us to fight back. I want to stay free so that we can do that. But if we go out and blab, they'll think that we're just kids making it up. We don't even know where we were held. And then, one day, they will come for us. I'm telling my parents I was stuck on the other side of the bay.
But I can't do that. And after what they did to you...
I'm doing this for me. That's the point. This is me and them now. And I will beat them. And I will get Daryl. But once our parents are involved, that's it for us. No one will believe us, and frankly, no one will care. If we do this my way, people will care.
Okay. So what's your way? What's your plan?
I don't know. Give me until tomorrow. Give me that at least. We exchanged screen names and went our separate ways, heading for home. Ange lived in Hayes Valley, and I lived on Peturo Hill.
Marcus?
Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom.
Marcus? Where have you been?
I got trapped in Oakland. I was there with some friends doing a project, and we were all quarantined.
For 5 days?
Yeah, it was really bad. I cribbed shamelessly from the Chronicle. They thought that they attacked us with some kind of super bug, and they packed us on the shipping containers in the docklands like sardines.
Christ.
Dad teaches in Berkeley in the library science program and consults thirdwave.coms and various archives there. He's a mild-mannered librarian by profession, but he'd been a real radical in the 60s.
Barbarians.
Mom's been living in America since she was a teenager, but she still comes over all British when she encounters American cops, healthcare, airport security, and homelessness. Then the word barbarians is used and her accent comes back strong.
Barbarians.
How's Daryl?
I haven't seen him. The light tasted bitter in my mouth.
Oh my God. We just assumed you two had been together.
No. He was supposed to meet us there, but we never met up. He was supposed to take the BART over. He's probably just still stuck over in Berkeley.
Don't you know about the BART? The bastards, they blew it up the same time as the bridge.
That hadn't been on the front page of the Chronicle.
But then a BART blew out under the water wouldn't be nearly as picturesque as the images of the bridge hanging in tatters and pieces over the bay.
No one was sure, but the body count was in the thousands. Between the cars that plummeted 191 feet into the river and the people that drowned in the trains.
My laptop's battery had a rundown while I was away, even though I had plugged it in. I opened up the keyboard and found something new inside. Piece of hardware, only a 1/16 of an inch thick with no markings. It was a bug. I almost took it out, but then I knew the DHS would know it was gone. So I kept it in. Made me sick to do it. Believe it or not, my parents actually made me go to school the next day. So I went up and over the hills, and all around I saw new traffic sensors and cameras.
The BART and Muni had completely abandoned cash fares.
Now everyone had to get clipper cards, which had ARFIDs in them, so you could just wave them from the turnstiles.
They were cool and convenient, but every time I used one, I thought about how I was being tracked. And don't get me started on debit cards.
No more debit.
Huh? Why not?
You wouldn't understand, kid. Go to school.
What, you think I'm not good enough to shop here?
No. No. The government, the security, it's been all over the papers. The Patriot Act 2. Congress passed it yesterday. It now allows them to see where you use your credit card. A government spying on their people is no good. And I will not help the government spy on my customers. You think it's no big deal, maybe? The government knowing where you buy your coffee? It's how they know where you are and where you have been. Why do you think I left Turkey 20 years ago? For my freedom. I will not help them take freedom away.
You're gonna lose so many sales. I wanted to call him a hero and shake his hand, but that's how that came out. Everybody uses debit cards.
Not so much anymore, I think. I think maybe my customers will respect me because they know I love freedom just as much as they do. I'm thinking about making a sign for the store, and maybe others will too.
You have all of my business from now on. I don't have any cash, though.
No, it's okay. Give today's money to the ACLU.
In 2 minutes, we'd exchanged more words than all the time I'd been going to the shop. Then, he and I shook hands and parted ways, but it felt like he and I had joined a team. You know, a secret team. That day, there was something new in front of the class. A camera.
Yes, Marcus?
Miss Galvez, about these cameras,
Yes, Marcus.
isn't the point of terrorism to make us afraid? That's why it's called terrorism, right?
I suppose so.
So, aren't we doing what the terrorists want from us? Don't they win if we act all afraid and start putting cameras in front of the classrooms and all that?
Charles?
Miss Galvez, putting in cameras makes us safe, which makes us less afraid.
Safe from what?
Terrorism!
How did they do that? If a suicide bomber ran in here right now and blew your head off.
Miss Galvez, Marcus is violating school policy. We're not supposed to make jokes about terrorist attacks.
Who's making jokes?
Oh, hey, thank you, both of you. This is very interesting, but I feel as though these issues may be too emotional for us to have a discussion about them today. Now, let's get back to the suffragists, shall we?
That weekend I met up with Ange at my favorite Mission burrito joint.
They bugged your computer?
That's why I had to meet you here in person. I can't get online. I feel like I'm going through withdrawal.
Well, this is bad. If they're bugging you, they could be bugging anybody.
They could be bugging everybody. But check it out. You have an Xbox Universal at your house, right?
Yeah, everyone does.
The Universal was the first Xbox that Microsoft gave away entirely for free.
Microsoft makes most of its money by charging software companies to put out games, so it makes a sick kind of sense.
Oh, do you remember those poor suckers in the Halo costumes last Christmas who was giving them away on the corner for free?
But check it out. The DHS bugged my laptop. but I still have an Xbox Universal still in its package just sitting in my closet. And I'll bet that just about everyone we know has one too.
I get it. Paranoid Xbox.
Paranoid Xbox was an alternate operating system for the Xbox Universal.
It was created by hackers and intended for Chinese and Syrian dissidents. It siphons off your neighbor's wireless connection, and every bit of information that's sent into the air gets scrambled to within an inch of its life.
You can wiretap it all you want, but you're never gonna know who's talking or what they're talking about. Completely anonymous email, web, and IM.
What is in that poor defenseless burrito?
Excuse me? Haven't even added a special ingredient yet.
Ew, what is that?
I'm a spicy food addict. This is capsaicin oil in a mister.
Capsaicin?
Yeah, the stuff in pepper spray. It's like pepper spray, but slightly more dilute. And way more delicious. Think of it as a spicy Cajun Visine if it helps.
No way. You're not gonna eat that.
Sounds like a challenge, Sonny. You just watch me. Want a bite?
Yeah.
So there's a scale, a Scoville scale, that us chili fanciers use to talk about how spicy a burrito is. You know, pure capsaicin oil is about 15 million Scovilles. Pepper spray is about 3 million. Tabasco's 50,000, but this stuff's only a puny 200,000. About as spicy as a mild Scotch bonnet pepper. Worked up to in about a year. You know, the real hardcore can go up to like 1 million or so. That's pretty freaking hot. At Scoville temperatures like that, the whole body gets a wash of endorphins. It's a better body style than hash. And it's good for you too. Of course, you do get a ferocious ring of fire when you go to John.
You're insane.
Want another bite?
Pass. Oh, pass.
So, say you start using this Paranoid Xbox to get online, you can talk to me then, and I can talk to you, but everybody else can be a DHS snoop. That's not enough.
How many people can you totally vouch for? Like, trust them to the ends of the earth?
I don't know, 20 or 30 or so?
All right. What if we got a bunch of really trustworthy people together and did a cool web of trust thing? We can hand out Paranoid Xbox and install this while we're at it. Web of Trust was one of those cool crypto things that I'd heard about, but I'd never tried. Unfortunately, it requires you to physically meet with the person before just to get anything started.
It's not bad, but how are you supposed to get everyone together for the key signing? I mean, without getting busted.
Daryl would know. This was the stuff he was great at.
I got it. How about a party? How about if we all get together like we're just a bunch of regular teenagers having a party, and that way we have a ready-made excuse in case people come along and ask us what we're doing there?
That would totally work. You're a genius, Ange.
I know.
And we'll tell them that it's invitation only. Tell them not to bring anyone else along or they won't be admitted.
You're joking, right? You tell people that, and they'll bring extra friends.
Ugh. What are we gonna do? We can't have people we don't trust there, and we obviously can't tell people why, so we've got people's codes so we can message them in secret.
But what if we tell them they can only bring a maximum of one person, but it has to be someone they've known for a minimum of 5 years?
Hey, that would totally work. I mean, if you told me not to bring anyone, I'd be like, well, who the hell do you think they are? When you put it like that, it sounds like some cool 007 stuff.
And I know just where to do it, too.
Where?
Sutro Baths.
Sutro Baths are San Francisco's authentic fake Roman ruins.
When it opened in 1896, it was the largest indoor bathing house in the world.
And all that's left is a labyrinth of weathered stones set into the cliff face at Ocean Beach.
There's sharp rocks, broken glass, and the occasional junkie needle. It's an awesome place for a party.
This is an awesome place for a party.
Polu is an old friend of mine and Daryl's from computer camp, and apparently he knew Ange a little too.
Jose Luis?
Hey!
Hey!
Okay, hello. Hi, thank you all for coming. So, you all probably know that we asked you here to come for a reason, so here it is. We know you're cool. And we know you're trustworthy. And if you're anything like us, you are not happy with these changes that have happened in our city since the bombs went off. The DHS is straight up spying on people.
Pretty much.
So if we want to be able to communicate without anybody listening in, we've got to create our own network.
Okay.
He explained about the XNet and the Web of Trust.
We printed out a bunch of Perinet Xbox install disks, enough for each of you to take one home. And we're also going to help you generate key pairs and share them with each other. I trust this machine. Every component in it was laid out by our own hands. If there's a trustworthy computer left anywhere in the world, this might well be it. So I've got a key generator loaded here. You give it some random input, mash the keys, wiggle the mouse, and we'll use that to create a random key for you, which will display on the screen. At that point, you will call over the people that you trust, and you'll have them take a picture of you standing next to the key, so they know whose key it belongs to.
Hey, so call me stupid, but... Thanks, guys. How's this supposed to help? I mean, I don't get it.
So I told them. I told them about being sent to prison, and I told them that Daryl was never released. You people are the first people that I have told. If this story gets out, you can bet they will know who leaked it. And you can bet that they'll come knocking on my door. But that's my life from now on. My life is about fighting the DHS until we are free again. Any one of you could put me in jail right now if you wanted to.
We're not gonna rat on you, man. I know pretty much everyone here, and I can guarantee you that. Right, look, I hate what the DHS is doing, but how is any of this supposed to help? I mean, dude, look at us. We're a bunch of kids.
You just said it, Holu. We trust each other because we're all kids. Do you think the adults are going to stand up to the DHS? Our parents? When they think of someone being spied on, they think of someone else, a bad guy. When they think of someone being arrested and sent to a secret prison, they think of someone else, someone brown, someone young, someone foreign. They forget what it's like to be our age, to be the object of suspicion all the time. How many times have you gotten on the bus and had everyone look at you like you had been gargling turds or skitting puppies? And what's worse is that they're turning into adults younger and younger out there. Back in the day, they used to say, don't trust anyone over 30. Today, I say don't trust any bastard over 25. Yeah! I mean, think about it. Who elected these ass clowns? Who let them invade our city? Who let them follow us around with creepy spyware chips and our transit passes in cars and spy on us with cameras in our classrooms? Wasn't a 16-year-old. We may be young, we may be dumb, but we are not scum! Yeah!
I want that on a t-shirt.
Be a good one. Where do we do the key thing?
We'll go over by the caves. Hey, thanks for that. You were great.
I know.
I retreated some distance as Ange ran the key generator, listening to her mousing and typing to create randomness, listening to the crash of the surf, and listening to the party noises from over where the party was.
Cheese.
So it went through the next hour or so, everyone creating keys, and I got to meet everyone there, and by the end of the night, we were all buddies. So a lot of you guys have pointed out that there's a vital flaw in this procedure. What if this computer can't be trusted? What if it's secretly recording our instructions? Or what if Ange and I can't be trusted? I mean it. If we're on the wrong side of this, this could get all of us, all of you, into a whole heap of trouble. That's why I'm going to do this. So, if any of you guys would like to accompany me, I'm gonna march this down to the sea and soak it in salt water for 10 minutes.
That was beautiful. Hey guys, over here! It was a good night that night. We don't know who came up with the name XNet, but it's stuck.
I use the XNet for almost everything now, but I wasn't going by Winston anymore. If Benson could figure it out, then anyone else could. My new handle, thought of on the spur of the moment, was Mikey.
It turned out the best way to get people on the XNet was for the games. Free, fun, and unmonitored homebrew games that were way better than the regular versions for lockdown machines.
There was a cool clockwork thing, this pirate game. We had to go plundering or pillaging every day or so that you could wind up your ship's mainspring so that you could go on a quest again. Also, Holu and I would create Paranoid Xbox install discs, and we'd hand them out to our friends who would make 50 or 60 of their own and then pass those out to their friends.
You know, this is kind of fun.
I'm glad you're part of this, Holu.
I just wish there was more we could do for Daryl, you know?
I know.
Whatever. See you tomorrow?
I'll see you tonight. Clockwork Plunder, right?
Yeah.
Sir, can you please step over here with us?
Excuse me?
Please. Please come with us.
Am I under arrest?
You have been momentarily detained to ensure your safety and the general public's safety.
Am I under arrest?
We just want to ask you a few routine questions.
Like what? Am I under arrest?
No, you're not under arrest right now. Would you like to be?
No.
Good. Your Clipper card says that you've been riding to a lot of funny places at a lot of strange hours.
So, you guys pull over anyone who has a funny ride history on their card? You must be busy.
Not everyone. We get an alert when someone with an uncommon ride profile comes out, and that helps us assess whether or not we want to investigate. In your case, We were wondering why such a smart-looking kid like you had such a funny ride profile.
I think I'd like to be arrested now.
Really? On what charge?
Oh, you mean riding the public transit in a non-standard way isn't a crime?
Let's take him home. We can talk to his parents.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm sure my parents will be anxious to hear how their tax dollars are being spent.
Why don't you shut up right now? After everything that's happened in the past 2 weeks, it wouldn't kill you to cooperate with us. You know what? Maybe we should arrest you. You can spend a day or two in jail while your lawyer looks for you. A lot can happen in that time.
A lot.
How would you like that, Marcus?
I'm sorry. Ugh, I hated myself for saying that.
Marcus? Who are these men?
Police.
What's this about?
We want to ask your son some rude questions about his whereabouts, but he declined to answer them.
Is he under arrest?
Are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Am I under arrest?
We seem to have gotten off to a bad start. We identified your son as someone with a non-standard public transit pattern as part of our new proactive enforcement program here. When we spot someone whose travels are unusual or match a suspicious profile, we investigate further.
So you're saying my son's a terrorist because of how he rides the bus?
Terrorists aren't the only bad guys we catch this way. Drug dealers, even shoplifters smart enough to hit a new neighborhood with every single run.
So my son's a drug dealer.
I didn't.
Marcus, please pass me your backpack. Officers, I can now inform you that there are no narcotics, explosives, or shoplifted glugars in my son's backpack. I think we're done here. And I would like your badge numbers before you leave.
Lady. The ACLU was suing over 300 cops on the SFPD. You're going to have to get in line. Good day.
Lillian, they were just doing their jobs at the same place it was a couple of weeks ago.
Drew, you are being ridiculous. Your son is not a terrorist. His use of public transit is no use for police investigation.
We do this all the time at my work. It's how you use to find all sorts of errors and anomalies. You ask a computer to create average profile, and you ask it to find out what's farthest away from the average. It's called Bayonese analysis. It's been around for centuries now. And without it, we couldn't do simple spam filtering.
So you're saying the police should suck as hard as my spam filter?
No. What I'm saying is I think it's completely reasonable for the police to start data mining. I'm not saying a computer should tell them who not to arrest. Have an officer go and see if the anomalies actually exist. Sort of helping them sift through a haystack for a needle.
They're creating the haystack. That's a gigantic mountain of data, and there's almost nothing worth
Marcus. I realize that this system has caused you some sort of inconvenience. But you, of all people should understand the gravity of this situation. Was there any harm done? They even gave you a ride home.
They threatened to send me to jail. I thought, but I could see there was no point in saying it.
You haven't even told us where the blazing hell's been such an unusual traffic pattern.
I thought you relied on my judgment. Do you really want me to account for every trip I've ever taken?
You have nothing to hide.
Okay, so you wouldn't mind if the police pulled you over?
No. I would consider it my duty. I would be proud. It would make me feel safer.
Oh, my dad says, I'd consider it my duty. Can you freaking believe that? I almost told him then about going to jail, asking him if he thought that was our duty.
Well, you can't tell your dad, you'd be putting everyone at risk.
Yeah, I know. But the problem is, I know he's just totally full of it. If you pulled my dad over and made him prove he wasn't a child-molesting, drug-dealing terrorist, he'd go berserk. Hell, he hates putting on hold when he calls about his credit card bill. Pulling him over and questioning him for an hour would literally give him an aneurysm.
They only get away with it because the normals feel smug over the abnormals. If everyone was getting pulled over, it'd be a disaster. No one would ever get anywhere because they'd all be waiting to be questioned by the cops. Total gridlock.
Oh my God. You're a total genius, Anne.
Tell me about it.
Seriously, we can do this. Messing up profiles is easy. Getting people pulled over is easy. Do this. Messing up profiles is easy. Getting people pulled over is easy.
Wait. What are you saying?
ARFID cloners. They're totally easy to make. Just flash the firmware on a 10x4 Radio Shack reader writer, then you're done.
Don't even need to do that. You download an app on your phone, it can do that.
Even better. What we do is we have people go around with ARFID cloners in their pockets, swapping people's Clipper cards and fast track IDs. That will make everyone skew all weird and screwy, and make everyone look guilty. And then, total gridlock.
This is too much, Marcus. You could go to jail for this. Not just you, dude. Lots of people. After what happened to Daryl.
I'm doing this for Daryl. That's the point. I'm doing this because the alternative is to let them get away with it all.
You think you can stop them? You're out of your mind. They're the government.
But it's still our country.
Okay. So you two are gonna put everyone on the X-Net in danger for their lives. And then you're gonna turn the entire city into terrorist suspects.
All right, hold. I am not the problem. They are. I'm not the ones arresting people and jailing them. The Department of Homeland Security are the ones doing that. Hey, I am fighting back to make that stop.
How? By making it worse. I did not sign up for this.
Maybe it has to get worse before it can get better.
The point of terrorist tests are not how they work, it's how they fail. That was my first line on my first blog post on Open Revolt, my Xnet site. I was writing as Mikey, and I was ready to go to war. Maybe all the automatic screening is supposed to catch terrorists. Maybe someday it'll catch one or two, but the problem is that in the process, it catches us too, even if we aren't doing anything wrong. The more people it catches, the more brittle it gets. So if it catches too many people, it dies. See what I mean? I posted that, a how-to for building an ARFID cloner, and a link to download the app, and some tips on how to get close enough to people to read and write their tags.
And that is how it started.
If you ever want to do something as stupid as start an automatic terrorism detector, here's a math lesson you'll need first.
It's called the paradox of the false positive, and it's a doozy.
In a city of 20 million people, there might be, say, 10 terrorists at the outside. And well, 10 divided by 20 million equals 0.00005%.
1/20,000th of a percent.
And say you have some sort of software that can sift through all the phone records, bank records, or public transit record in the whole city. You catch terrorists 99% of the time.
Well, 99% accurate terrorist test will identify about 200,000 people as being terrorists.
That means to catch 10 bad guys, you gotta haul in and investigate 200,000 people.
Guess what? Terrorist tests aren't anywhere close to 99% accurate. More like 60% accurate. 40% accurate sometimes.
Is it ever any wonder we were ever able to make such a mess?
Tuesday morning, 1 week into Operation False Positive, I had my ARFID cloner locked and loaded in my pocket, all ready full of fast truck IDs, Clipper cards, and even some passports and car key numbers I had gotten from the day before.
5, 6, 7, 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, switching the license plates on a bunch of cars, but invisible and instantaneous.
I passed by huge police lines at the BART stations.
Long lines of cars.
People swearing at ATMs that wouldn't dispense their money because they'd have their accounts frozen for suspicious activity.
We had brought the city to a standstill. The news reports were calling it the DHS gone haywire.
The San Francisco Chronicle said a week of this crap would cost the city more than the Bay Bridge bombing had.
The best part was, Dad got home 3 hours late last night. Not because he had to take the Mooney train home instead of the BART, but because he had gotten pulled over, searched, and questioned. Then it happened again. Twice. Twice.
Did you hear about the Cal students who figured out how to set off the bomb sniffers with kitchen products? They've been sprinkling it all over the professors' briefcases and watching them get tackled by security.
This is great. I cannot believe how many people are jamming. This is sweet.
So, where are you taking me?
Taking you?
On our next adventure?
I didn't really have anything planned.
Okay, then I'll take you. Saturday, Dolores Park, illegal open air concert. Be there or be a dodecahedron.
Wait, what?
Don't you even read XNet? It's all over the place. They've got like 50 bands signed to play the bill, and they're gonna set it up on the tennis courts and bring their own amp trucks and rock out all night.
You don't think that'll get busted?
Well, that's the point. You have to put the police in a situation where they have to decide. Are we gonna treat ordinary people like terrorists? It's like jamming, but with a whole bunch of awesome bands.
I felt like I was living under a rock. I've been using all my energies on using XNet to create dedicated fighters so that they could jam the DHS, but this was so much cooler. A big concert? I had no idea how to do one of those, but I was glad someone did. And I was damn proud to know that they were using the XNet to do it.
My name is Trudy Doo, and you are an idiot if you trust me. I'm 32 and it's too late for me. I'm lost. I'm stuck in the old way of thinking. I still take my freedom for granted and let other people take it away from me. But you are the first generation to grow up in Gulag America, and you know what your freedom is worth to the last damn cent. Mic check! Don't trust anyone over 25! 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 This is our damn city! This is our damn country! And no terrorist can take it from us as long as we're free! Once we're not free, the terrorists win! Take it back! Take it back! You are the only one young enough and stupid enough not to know that you can't possibly win. So it is up to you to lead us to victory. Yeah! Take it back! Take it back! Take it back!
We danced for so long I couldn't dance another step. Okay, technically, Ange and I were rubbing our sweaty bodies against each other for several hours. But believe it or not, I was not being a total horn dog about it. We were just dancing, just lost in the God beat and the thrash and the screaming.
Take it back! Take it back!
When we couldn't dance anymore, Ange dragged me over towards the edge of the crowd and across the street.
Hey, you.
Hey. Hi.
Come here.
Oh.
Disperse immediately!
I had never been in a war before, but I now know what it must be like. A bunch of scared kids charging across the field at an opposing force, and knowing what's coming, and then running away, and screaming, and hollering.
What do we do?
We walk away. That's all we can do.
That'll never work.
That's all I've got.
You should try to run for it.
No. If we run, they'll chase us. Maybe if we just walk on by, they'll think that we have nothing to do with it, and they'll let us alone.
The park was rolling with bodies. Young people and adults, all clawing at their faces and gasping for air. The guards dragged them by their armpits and latched their wrists with cuffs. And then they just tossed their bodies into the trucks like ragdolls.
Corner of 16th Street and turned down Mission. Normally, that's a pretty scary neighborhood, 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. That night, it was a relief. Just the same old druggies and hookers and dealers and drunks. No cops with flashbang grenades and no gas. Coffee?
Home first, I think. Coffee later.
Yeah.
I spotted a taxi and I hailed it.
Have you got a cab for home?
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Head swimming. Eyes running. A burning shame for having left all those ex-netters to the tender mercies of the DHS. I set off for home.
Blackout. Lights down, go.
2 months had passed since the attack on the Bay Bridge.
Daryl had been missing for 2 months.
Did you miss me?
I remember feeling so angry, so confused. I felt like just...
Do you remember it not being all about you?
What?
Not about you.
Oh, come on! But I was just...
Dude.
Just saying.
Fine. Okay. Where were we?
Made it look like the party in Dolores Park was just some drunken, druggy orgy of kids who attacked the cops.
They're total whores. In fact, that's an insult to hardworking whores everywhere. They're profiteers.
Well, at least the Xnet got it right anyway.
We need to make people know about the good stuff.
How?
Well, why don't you think the press doesn't ever publish our side?
You said it. They're whores.
Yeah, but whores do it for the money. They'd sell more papers if they had a controversy. All they have right now is a crime. Controversy? It's much bigger.
Okay, but reporters can barely keep track of regular blogs, let alone keep control of the Xnet. It's not as though it's an adult-friendly place to be.
But we can fix that, right?
What?
Write it up with all of the links. A single place that's intended for the press to find it and get the whole picture.
You think that'll work?
Even if it doesn't, it's something positive to do.
Why would they listen to us anyways?
Who wouldn't listen to Mikey? What the hell's your problem, mister? Come on, seriously! Stop it! Talk to me!
Don't say that name out loud! Seriously!
What's the big deal?
I should have never told you that! If people find out, it's not a secret anymore!
What? You don't trust me?
No, it's not that, it's just...
I'm right. You don't trust me. After everything we've been through, and you don't trust me?
And I do trust you, but this is too big! The risk is too
Okay, look! What if I told you something about me that I've never told anybody else? Last year, I stole the standardized tests and I published them on the net. Just happened to be walking past the principal's office and his safe was hanging wide open, and so I went home and I scanned them all and posted them online.
That was you?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It had been huge news.
The Board of Education had said that the No Child Left Behind test had cost tens of millions of dollars to produce. Now that they had been leaked, they'd have to spend it all over.
And you're telling me this because...
Because I want you to make sure that I won't betray your secret. Now you have something to use to put me in jail in case I open my trap. Give a little, get a little. Quid pro quo, like Silence of the Lambs.
Okay. Okay. It's good you know. You.
Me. Little old me.
And I won't betray your secret, but... Okay, there's something else. Okay, there's no way to say this without sounding like just a jerk, so I'm just gonna say it. Okay. People who date each other, or whatever it is we're doing now, they split up. And when people split up, they get angry with each other, and sometimes even hate each other. And I know that's such a horrible thing to think about that happening between us, but it's something you gotta think about, you know.
I solemnly promise that there is nothing that you could do that would cause me to betray your secret. Screw a dozen cheerleaders in my bed while my mother watches. Make me listen to Justin Bieber. Rip off my laptop and smash it with hammers and soak it in seawater. I promise. Nothing ever. Now would be a good time to kiss me.
Mikey's next big project on the XNet was putting together the ultimate roundup of reports on the Dolores Park.
I put together the biggest, most badass site that I could.
Arabic news agency Al Jazeera is running videos, pictures, and first-hand accounts of the youth riots in Mission Dolores Park last weekend. Al Jazeera reporters claim that these accounts were published on the so-called XNet, a clandestine network used by students and Al-Qaeda sympathizers in the Bay Area.
Great. Just what we need. As if the police weren't bad enough already. A bunch of kids running around acting like gorillas. Giving the police a real reason to crack down.
The XNet has carried hundreds of reports and multimedia files from young people who claim that they were gathered peacefully before the police attacked them. Here's one of those accounts.
All we were doing was dancing. I brought my little brother. Bands played and we talked about freedom. About how we're losing it to these jerks who say they hate terrorists but who attack us. Though we're not terrorists, we're Americans.
The cops gassed us with pepper spray. My little brother's 12. He missed 3 days of school.
More accounts like these, including audio and video, can be found on Al Jazeera's website or on the XNet. Directions for accessing the XNet can be found on NPR's homepage.
Marcus, do you use the XNet?
It's a wireless network, Dad. It's for video games. It's what they do with those free Xboxes they gave away with last year.
You don't realize this now, but what you are doing is providing cover for people who are trying to destroy this country.
What the hell, Dad? How are they trying to—
And don't use that tone of voice with me, Marcus. I do not want to see you using the XNet again. Do I make myself clear?
A face I recognized from my time in captivity appeared on the screen that night. The caption labeled him as General Grenay Sutherland, Regional Commander, DHS.
When the police came on the scene, they found a recruitment rally for America's enemies in progress. The gathering had already disrupted the nights of hundreds of residents in the area, none of whom had been consulted in the planning of this all-night rave party. The police ordered them to disperse. When the revelers turned and attacked them, egged on by the musicians on stage, the police subdued them using non-lethal crowd control techniques. Ladies and gentlemen, America is fighting a war on many fronts, but nowhere is she in more grave danger than she is here, at home. Whether we are being attacked by terrorists or those who sympathize with them.
General Sutherland, surely you're not saying that these children were terrorist sympathizers for attending a party in the park?
Of course not. But when young people are brought under the influence of our country's enemies, it's easy for them to end up over their heads. I'm sure the terrorists would love to recruit a fifth column to fight the war on the home front for them. If these were my children, I'd be gravely concerned. I am approving the SFPD's request for a 300% increase in DHS personnel on the ground in San Francisco.
If all that wasn't bad enough, here's what Fox News had to say about it.
They say they don't have a name. Well, I've got a name for them. Let's call these spoiled children Al-Qaeda. When, not if but when, California is attacked again. Mikey and his band of brass should be just as much to blame as the House of Sod.
You have to take it easy on your father.
He's just wrong, Mom. Everything that's great about this country is being flushed down the toilet. And he's going along with it.
Marcus, I'm no fan of what's going on in this country either, but when you didn't come home for several days after the attacks, we thought your father is... We thought you were dead, Marcus. Do you understand that? We were mourning you for days. We were imagining you blown to bits at the bottom of the ocean because some bastard decided to kill hundreds of innocent people to prove some point. Your father was ready to kill someone. Anyone.
You've never seen him like this. I've never seen him like this. He loves you. We both love you. You are the most important thing in our lives, and I don't think you realize that. It's going to take some time before he's the man he was. Before he's the man I love again. We're going to have to try to understand him until then.
Every day, there were more troops on the streets.
And every night, the DHS announced more arrests, ringleaders and operatives of X-Men.
People I didn't know just paraded along the streets with the ARFID cloners in their pockets.
They announced that people were naming names, compromising the XNet network, and that more arrests were expected soon.
Mikey was often heard.
Hey, I thought you could use a study break.
Hello. Thanks. You ever get scared?
Me? Get scared? All right. I'm always scared. Ever since the moment the bombs went off, I've been terrified. I'm so scared sometimes. I don't even want to get out of bed.
Then why do you do it?
About that, maybe I won't. Not for much longer anyways. Look, Marcus, it's been great helping you and all, but I don't know when I've done something so important. It's just...
What?
I can't do it forever. It is too much risk. The DHS? You can't go to war on them, Marcus. That's crazy. Really, actually crazy.
Thanks, Holu.
Okay, I'm not criticizing you, man. Look, I think it is brave that you have the courage to go out there and do this, day in and day out. I haven't got it. I can't live my life in perpetual terror.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm out. I'm saying I'm gonna be one of those guys who acts like it's all okay, and I'm only gonna use the internet like I used to, and I'm only using the XNet for clockwork plunder. Getting out is what I'm saying, Marcus. I won't be a part of your plans anymore. Look, dude, I know that's leaving you on your own. I don't want to do that. Believe me. Marcus, I would much rather you gave up with me. Okay, you can't fight the DHS. It is not a fight you are going to win. Watching you do it, it's like watching a bird fly through a window again and again.
I understand, Holu. And I respect your choice.
Good. Marcus, there's something else.
What?
Okay, I wasn't gonna mention it before, but I feel like I need to tell you, so So you can understand why.
Jesus,
I have to do
Holu, what?
All right. You're a gringo. I'm a Latino. I mean, gringos, you see cops in the street and you feel safer, right? Latinos see cops in the street and we wonder if we're gonna get searched. I mean, gringos, you get caught with cocaine and you do a little rehab time, and Latinos get caught with crack and we do 20 years. The way the DHS is treating you, that is the way the law in this country has always been for us.
I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. I just wanted to let you know so you can understand or something.
Listen to this. Police project 4 to 600 in what they say will be the largest coordinated raid on extant dissidents to date.
This is insane. Did you know that more people are doing more jamming to prove that they're not afraid? Isn't that just nuts?
I think it's brave. You can't just look upstairs in submission.
No, Ange, we cannot let hundreds of people go to jail. If we do that, then I'm the guy who thinks I am.
Do you think that they don't know that they could go to jail? They believe in the cause. You believe in it too. Give them the credit to know what they're getting into. It's not up for you to decide what risks they can or can't take.
But it's my responsibility, because if I tell them to stop, then they'll stop.
And I thought that you weren't the leader.
I'm not. Of course I'm not, but I can't help it if they look to me for guidance, and so long as you do that, then it's my responsibility to keep them safe. Please tell me you see that, right?
All I see is you getting ready to cut and run at the first sight of trouble. I see someone who's afraid for someone to find out who they really are. I think they're afraid for you.
That's not fair.
Oh, really? Who's the guy who nearly had a heart attack when he thought that his precious identity might get out?
That was different. This isn't about me. You know it isn't. Why are you being like this?
Why are you being like this? Why aren't you willing to be the guy who's brave enough to get this all started?
This isn't brave. It's suicide.
Cheap teenage melodrama, Mikey.
Don't call me that!
What, Mikey? Why not, Mikey?
Why I'm not jamming. I am not telling you what to do because I am not the leader of
anything. No matter what Fox News thinks I am. I am, however, going to tell you what I can do. I'm not jamming. It's not because I'm afraid, but it's because I know I am better off free than in prison.
The DHS is dumb and we are smart. But if you get caught, that makes them look smarter than us. The DHS are not smarter than us. Let's figure out a way to jam them, no matter how many goons they put on the streets of our city. I posted it, and I went to bed. I missed Ange. A couple weeks later, someone passed me by a note on a crowded Mooney train, and I didn't find it till I got home, and when I found it, I opened it up, and it was a letter from Daryl.
Dear Marcus, this might be a trick, I don't know. Maybe the guards will take this
And they'll read it and they'll know. They always know. They'll harm me some more. He says he's going to leave tonight, but I can't win them. I can't do it. I'm too weak. They stitch me up, but they keep hurting me. Treasure Island. Everyone calls it Given by the Bay, but we're on Treasure Island. They keep bringing in more people, more kids, and then they take some of them away. People say they're taking them to Syria. Most of them, anyway. The 2 kids I know are dead. Marcus, I don't know how much longer I can take this. Things are bad, and they're only getting worse. Something's changed. I think they're scared now. Marcus, I'm sorry, I've got to go. Don't let them take you back here. Your friend, Daryl.
Marcus?
Mom.
Hi. Is that from your girlfriend? Is everything alright?
I was in jail. After the bridge blew, I was in jail the whole time. They told me that I'd be sent back to prison, and not just for a few days, forever. And I'm scared, okay?
We have to tell your father.
You should have told me.
Drew, you are blaming the wrong person. It wasn't Marcus who did the kidnapping and the interrogation.
I'm not blaming Marcus. I know who's the blender. It's me and the stupid DHS. Now, go on. Get your shoes and get your coats.
Where are we going?
We're going to see Daryl's father.
Telling Daryl's father might have been the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Marcus.
He was nothing like the Navy man I remember. Unshaven, bare feet with long toenails and red eyes.
Mr. Clark.
Hello, Ron. You too. What's going on?
There's something we need to tell you. And it's not going to be very easy to hear.
He just stood there like a statue as I told him the story. Daryl is alive. Daryl is alive, but he's being held prisoner on Treasure Island.
What are we going to do?
I think I have an idea. I was like a zombie the next day at school. I totaled about 3 hours of sleep. And even 3 cups of the Turk's coffee failed to jumpstart my brain. When the school day got out, all I wanted to do was just go home and crawl into bed. Ash?
Hi! Surprise! I couldn't concentrate anyway. I took French leave from school. Shut up and give me a big hug, you idiot. I love you.
What?
I love you. I'm going to send you a telegram. That's a surprise, huh?
No, it's not that. It's just... I was going to say that to you.
Sure you were.
It's just I've never said it before, so I was I was working up to it.
Still haven't said it, you know? These girls tend to pick up on these things.
I love you, Angel Company.
I love you, Sarah. I like your post about Orange Jam. I can respect it. But what have you done to Jam without getting caught?
About that, I'm gonna hold a press conference to tell the world how I started XNet and how I am Mikey.
Couldn't think of anything ambitious.
Wanna come?
I'm coming, yes. I'd like you to explain some details.
How does a wanted fugitive like Mikey hold a press conference without being arrested on the spot? Simple. Do it online in Clockwork Club.
The responses from the press ranged from puzzled to enthusiastic.
Well, only the Fox reporter was really outraged that we had the gall to ask her to play a video game to be on her TV show, but everybody else seemed to think it'd be a really cool story. Although they all wanted lots of tech support for signing into the game.
I didn't tell them what it was about. I just told them that Mikey had something he wanted to say.
This is gonna work. Patch Eye Pete's market has 600 players in it now.
This is insane.
This is perfect. If you really want to screw over the DHS, you're gonna have to embarrass them. It's not like we can outshoot them. Your only weapon is your ability to make them look like total morons.
And even if this does work, even if we get the word out about the DHS and Treasure Island, this is it. After this, it's over.
Well, maybe you can go into hiding. Or maybe after you come clean tonight, you won't have to. Because everyone will know who you are and they won't be able to touch you.
I had never been with a girl as aggressive as Ange before. It had always been me putting the moves on them and them just pushing me away. But I got the feeling that Ange was just as much of a horn dog as I was. I guess that's why we never really let things get too heavy. I knew I couldn't rely on her to back off, which scared me a little. But I wasn't scared then. The impending press conference, the letter from Daryl, the international attention, and the sense that there was a movement careening around the city like a wild pinball. It made my skin tingle, and it made my blood sing.
Come here, you.
Crap, it starts in 2 minutes. I couldn't freaking believe I was about to stop doing what I was about to stop doing. And yet we stopped for this.
You can easily tell who the press was.
They were the noobs who played their characters like staggering drunks, occasionally hitting the wrong key and offering strangers their inventory, or giving each other accidental hugs and kicks.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Mikey. Before we get to what I have to say, there's something that you should all know first. This was never about me. All around you are ex-netters who have just as much to say about why we are here as I do. I use the Xnet because I believe in freedom and the Constitution of the United States of America. I use the Xnet because I believe that the DHS has turned our city into a police state where we are all suspected terrorists. I use the Xnet because I believe you cannot defend freedom by tearing up the Bill of Rights. Thank you.
Yarr! I am Priya Renese from the BBC, and now, Mikey, you say you're not the leader of any movement, but is there a movement, and is it called the Xnet?
The X-netters all typed in their own responses.
U.S. out of San Francisco!
There isn't a movement!
Yes, it's called Xnet!
Occupy Main Street!
DHS, go home!
Your little brothers. I guess that answers your question, doesn't it?
There may be one or two movements out there, and they may or may not be called Xnet.
More journalists asked questions, some sympathetic and some hostile.
We ex-netters gave them all kinds of responses.
Finally, though, it was time. Okay, everyone, here's the full story. My name is Marcus Yallow. I told them everything. I told them about being sent to prison. I told them that I'm Mikey. I told them about Daryl, and I told them about Treasure Island.
We scanned in Daryl's note for everyone to download. Gitmo by the Bay, it wasn't a secret anymore.
Neither was Mikey.
Can you verify this?
Gitmo by the Bay.
There are kids on Treasure Island?
That poor kid. Makes sense, they evacuated TI after the bridge blew.
Marcus
I think
Yallow?
my sister's on Gitmo by the Bay.
Mikey, how was this letter sent to you?
Treasure Island.
Daryl Glover.
This is totally illegal.
2 kids are dead?
Mikey, you're my hero!
Take it back. How do you know this is real?
This is why we can't trust anyone over
The
25.
governor has to be in on this.
This makes so much sense.
Those bastards!
This is quite the revelation, Mr. Yallow. If these allegations are true, the state government might even throw the DHS out of California. But how do we know you're telling the truth? How do we know this note is real? That Daryl was with you when the bombs went off and not on the bridge or in a BART train?
Uh-oh. And shit.
Here. It's time, date, and GPS stamped. Daryl Glover was in the Tenderloin 6 seconds before the bombs went off.
Still wasn't enough. The ex-netters seemed to believe us, but it was clear that the reporters didn't. Which meant that everybody watching at home wasn't going to believe it either. I had just given up my identity to the THS and... all for nothing.
Then suddenly, a pirate ship appeared, seemingly out of nowhere.
Pate Pete was under attack. This happens from time to time in online games.
A pirate queen stood on the ship's deck.
Avast ye, scurvy dogs! Shiver me timbers if it isn't Mikey himself and all his little friends! You think you can bring down our enemies with a little bedtime story like that? No, mateys! You need some real pirate treasure stolen from their most secret hiding places! Feast your eyes on this booty!
I still don't know how she did it, but the Pirate Queen managed to upload a whole trove of transcripts from Treasure Island.
As well as emails between Severe Haircut and General Sutherland, the regional commander of the DHS.
And between General Sutherland, the CEOs of a couple corporations with big government contracts, and even elected officials in Washington.
Our moles in the Xnet have built up influence.
Keep them radical. The more they fight back, the easier it is to justify expenses.
The new interrogation techniques are working.
They're just a bunch of punk kids. Nobody cares what we do to them.
Take that one offshore. We'll get him to talk.
I don't care how accurate it is. Just get me some names.
That prisoner is no longer able to provide a testimony.
The only reason why they care about what happens in San Francisco is because they had the good fortune of being blown to hell by some Islamic terrorists.
Aren't you a filthy thing?
As far as this country's concerned, San Francisco deserves to rot in hell.
We signed off not too long after that. I had stopped being Marcus. I was a public figure. I was the guy who spilled the beans on the DHS. And I was a dead man walking. What have I done?
You've won.
I had never done it before. Though I thought about it all the time. Hell, practically 100 times a day I thought about it. Afterwards, I felt the same, but I also felt different.
Thank you too, Marcus Yellow. You're a good man.
You know what? I am so sick of being scared. Let them take me away. At least I don't know what's gonna happen. At least then I'll have just a little certainty in my life. You know?
I know, Tiger. I know. But you're focusing on all of the bad stuff and ignoring the good. You've created a movement. You've blown the lid off this entire rotten DHS thing. You heard what the reporter said. The state of California needs to give their legal approval for the DHS to even operate here. And after tonight's press conference, who knows what might happen? You've jammed them in the streets of San Francisco and humiliated them in front of the world. So stop moping, all right? You're winning.
But they're coming for me, though. When they find me, they'll do to me what they did to Daryl. Maybe even worse. Maybe send me to Syria. Why keep me in San Francisco? I'm a liability as long as I'm in the U.S.
Yeah. That. Well, you know what you have to do now, right? Gotta go off the grid. We have to go underground. There are people on the XNet doing it. They can help us. What?
It's just... I might never see you again.
Shut up! You think you're the only one in danger here? I'm in just as much danger as you, Marcus. It's called guilt by association. When you go, I go. You and I, we're together now. You have to understand that. Unless you don't want me.
You're kidding, right?
Do I look like I'm kidding?
Okay, there's no way I would voluntarily go anywhere without you, Ange. I mean, I could have never asked you to go, but I'm ecstatic that you offered.
Shut up and let's figure this out.
The next morning, Ange and I hit the streets of San Francisco, heading for a future I couldn't even begin to imagine.
But we didn't make it very far. A huge crowd gathered at the Civic Center.
A huge crowd.
What the hell is going on here?
I have no idea.
Shut down Treasure Island!
Back our kids!
The agent's out San Francisco!
Yeah! This was nothing like the party at Dolores Park.
It wasn't just kids this time.
I saw men and women in business suits.
Veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan in their military fatigues.
Parents with kids on their shoulders.
People, young and old, rich and poor, and everything in between.
Judy Doo was there.
Take it back!
Take it back! I even saw Miss Galvez and a bunch of other teachers.
Yeah!
I found out later my parents had been there with Daryl's father.
Whose streets? Our streets!
Yeah! I even saw cops. SFPD joining the protesters.
The THS was not impressed.
Ange and I missed most of what happened. The tear gas, the beatings.
They arrested almost 2,000 people that day. And we were among the first. They must have had us ID'd when we went in.
An incredible, deep calm just kind of swept over me, like I was lying on a beach and the ocean just came in and picked me up and carried me off the sea. The plastic bag didn't come off my head till I was back in my cell. Neither did the cuffs. I knew what was happening. I was being left to piss myself. Again. I knew what it was like. I'd done it before. It smelled bad, it itched, and it was humiliating. But I'd survived it. I've had the worst that they could throw at me, and I'd survived it. Not only that, but I had showed them up as chumps and despots. I'd won. So I just let my bladder cut loose.
Hello, Mikey. You seem to have had an eventful morning.
Yeah, I pissed myself. You should really try it.
Well, maybe we should give you a bath then.
I closed my eyes and let the ocean carry me off the beach.
Let's start with something simple. I'd like your login and password, please. Do you know what waterboarding is, Mikey? We pour water over your face, up your nose, and down your throat. You won't be able to suppress the gag reflex. They call it a simulated execution. And from what I can see, from this side of the room, that's a pretty fair assessment. You won't be able to fight the feeling that you're dying.
I closed my eyes, but the ocean never carried me off that beach.
Let's start with the login. Give him a drink.
It started as a trickle. A ladleful gently poured over my chin, and it went over my lips and upturned my nostrils, but I didn't cough it up and suck it back into my lungs. I just held it in my breath and squeezed my eyes harder.
It's just the login, Marcus! What could I even do with your login anyways?
This time, it was a bucket full, all at once. So I couldn't hold it in my breath, so I was forced to cough it up and suck it back into my lungs, which made me cough again and suck that back up into my lungs. I knew it wasn't gonna kill me, but I could not convince my body of that. In every fiber of my being, I knew I was gonna die. But then it stopped. And there was a lot more people in the room than there had when we started.
Put your hands in the air! Please put your hands in the air!
What is this? Who are you?
California Highway Patrolman, can you please put your hands in the air?
The Attorney General had issued warrants for any law enforcement officers involved in stress interrogations and secret imprisonments.
They were going to jail.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I think so.
You're Mikey, aren't you?
I've got to find Terrell. We searched up and down the cell blocks, and all over people screamed and banged on the doors. I don't think they could see what was happening. I don't think they could see their guards being hauled off in cuffs. Terrell! Terrell Glover! It's me, Marcus! Oh God, he was dead. He was dead. At the end of the corridor, I saw a giant steel door. Terrell! I'm here! I'm sorry! Terrell! They've arrested the guards. We're going home. There we go. Come on, bud. This is me. I was on a waterboard. I was tortured in a simulated execution. The torture was led by a woman named Carrie Johnston. She works for the government.
Give him a drink.
Punk kids. Nobody cares what we do to them.
That prisoner is no longer able to provide a testimony.
As far as this country's concerned, San Francisco deserves to rot in hell.
He's talking about the city where I live.
Where we all live. At last count, 4,215 of our neighbors have been killed in the Bay Bridge attack.
But some of them may not have been killed.
Some of them disappeared into the exact same prison where I was tortured.
Some mothers and fathers, children and lovers, brothers, sisters, will never see their loved ones again.
Because they were all secretly jailed in the illegal prison right here in the San Francisco Bay.
And then some of them were shipped overseas.
These people were supposed to be on our side. They were supposed to protect our freedoms. But instead, they betrayed our trust.
Our assignment was to pick a recent newsworthy event and demonstrate its impact on us.
I think we did that.
Oh, yeah.
Something else. What happened not only had an impact on us, but we all had an impact on what happened.
I might have started XNet, but this was never about me. Everyone who showed up at the protests, everyone who made their voices heard, had a say in what happened in our city.
Stories like this happen all the time, all over the world.
People with power use fear and apathy to get more power. But we don't have to be afraid. And we don't have to be apathetic.
Talk to your neighbors. Make them promise to get involved.
Make them promise to vote. Make them promise to work, to speak out, to show up at the protests, to do their part.
Make them take back our country country from the torturers and the thugs.
The people who laughed at my friends as they lay fresh in their graves at the bottom of the harbor.
Make them promise to talk to their neighbors.
Because we have to do this together.
My name is Marcus Yallo. I was tortured by my country, but I still love it here. I want to grow up in a free country, and I want to live in a free country. But this isn't about me. What kind of country do you all want to live in?